Hashem, today's daf yomi is recording it from Newark Airport, so you hear the background. Daf yomi is Menachos daf lamed, and we're going to start on the top of lamed al and aleph on the top line. The Gemara said that there were two statements that Rav made, which were contradicted. That he said about Safras, which were contradicted by a price. So we did the first one yesterday. Now do the second one. Idach Dama Rav. What's the other one that Rav said? Akos save Sefer Torah. Balidmar. Let's say you wrote a Sefer Torah and you want to complete the Torah Sefer Torah. Gomer Afil Bam Tzadaf. So Rav says you can complete it even in the middle of the daf. You don't have to wait for the end of the Amud. So Meishay, the Gemara says there's a brayso that contradicts this. Akos save Sefer Torah. Balidmar. Well, Yidmar Bam Tzadaf. You're not allowed to complete it in the middle of the daf, which is the way you complete it if there's a chumash. What does a chumash here mean? It means that they used to write not the whole Sefer Torah, but just certain parts of the Torah. First, they would write Bereshit or other pages and parts of the Torah. So there you could complete in the middle of the daf. But a Sefer Torah, you can't complete in the middle of the daf. You just keep writing it, and Rashi said you like thin it out until you finish at the end of the whole page. So we see from here you can't finish in the middle of the daf. So the Gemara says, Kika Amarav Chumashim. No, when Rav said his din, he didn't say it about a Sefer Torah, he said about Chumashim. The Gemara says about Sefer Torah Kamar, but he says specifically Sefer Torah. No, it means the Chumashim shall Sefer Torah. It means when you're writing the Chumash of a Torah scroll, meaning the end of the Torah scrolls. That's when we say you can finish the end of the Torah scrolls even in the middle of the daf. And that actually, the minhag today, that you don't that the Torah itself, you finish on the last line. But the Chumashim of the Torah, you can finish even in the middle of the line. Is this really the case? Amar Shub Barav, Amar Rav Gido, Amar Rav Le'nei Kol Yisrael Be'emtza Daf. Is it really the case that the Torah can end at the end? But didn't we say Le'nei Kol Yisrael even Be'emtza Daf? That you can finish up the Torah even in the middle of the daf. Now the Gemara says Ahi Be'emtza Shita. No, that actually means the middle of the line. The Torah can end in the middle of the line. And Rabbanan Amri. We're studying. Yeah, you can leave it here. Yeah, of course. You missed the piano. We're doing the daf. You can join us if you want. Rabbanan Amar Yav B'em Tashita. Rabbanan say even in the middle of the line. And so we see the Rabbanan say you could end the Torah even in the middle of the line. Rav Ashi Amar B'em Tashita Davka. Rav Ashi says in the middle of the line specifically. Actually, that's our custom today. There's a big dispute about it, but our custom today is that when you end off Leinei Kol Yisrael, we do it in the middle of the line. Amar B'Shua Bar Abba, Amar Rav Gido, Amar Rav Shmona Pesukim Shebetorah, the last 8 Pesukim of the Torah, Yachad Korah Sam Beis HaKnesses. The last 8 Pesukim of the Torah, an individual can read them in the synagogue. Meaning to say that even by himself. Meaning to say that, so what does this mean? The Rashi says one person can read it and he can't make a break. Meaning to say that sometimes you could have different people reading it, but this one only one person can read it. This one, others say no, it means that the Shliach Tzibor shouldn't read it with him. That's Tosfos says that explanation. But anyway, the Gemara says, come on, this position that the last 8 Pesukim of the Torah, that the individual could read them is the Lord Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya, what did Rabbi Shimon say? Vayam Hashem Moshe Eved Hashem, that the last 8 Pesukim, which begin with the words, that's where Moshe died. After Moshe Chai, how can Moshe be alive? Because of Vayam Hashem Moshe, it says that Moshe died. Ad Kaim because of Moshe. Up until this point, Moshe Rabbeinu himself wrote it. From that point on, Yeshua ben Nun wrote it. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Nechemia. So that will make sense that even an individual can read them. Rabbi Shimon, but Rabbi Shimon said, Sefer Torah Chaser Os Achas can be really possible that a Sefer Torah is missing even one letter, but it says, but it says, should take this Torah, the Samtimoso, put it, Mitzad Aron Bris Hashem, put it next to the ark. So how could the Torah be missing a letter? Moshe Kosef. Up until this point, Hashem Yisparach would say it and Moshe would repeat it. But from this point on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer, Moshe Kosef B'Dema. From this point on, Moshe would say, God would say it, and Moshe would write it with Dema. What is Dema? Dema, Rashi says Dema means he wouldn't repeat it. It would be like silence. Some say Dema is tears. Another explanation is Dema means so mixed up. But anyway, we see from here the fundamental idea that this is the concept that the Sofer has, that when he writes a Torah, he's supposed to say each word out loud, and then write it. And that comes from this idea. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Omer Moshe Kotiv. God would say it, and Moshe would write it for them. Akmash Nemer La'alon. The Omer and Baruch Mi Piv Yikra Eli is called Verma Elav Aniko Sev Al Sefer Bityo. So let us say the local Rabbi Shimon, the idea that an individual can read it must not be like Rabbi Shimon, because Rabbi Shimon says that only that Moshe Rabbeinu himself wrote it, which means an individual wouldn't be able to say it. Moshe says, I feel with Rabbi Shimon. You can even say that Rabbi Shimon himself would say an individual could read it. Whole Ishtini. No, since it's changed, since it wasn't written the way the rest of the Torah is written, maybe an individual will be allowed to. Rabbi Shubarav, listen to this. Says Rabbi Shubarav, Amarav. Gidel, Amarav, Hokel, Sefer Torah Menachos. Somebody who purchases the Torah scroll from the marketplace, Kechotev mitzvah Menachos. It's like you just grabbed the mitzvah. You just purchased it. It's like you grabbed the mitzvah. Kasavo, but if you write the Torah yourself, have a cost of kibble me Sinai. If you write the Torah yourself, the pasuk looks at you as though you received it straight from Har Sinai. And Amar of Sheishes, if you fixed even one letter, if you fix one letter of the Torah, we look at you as though you wrote the whole Torah. Uriah is the page on which the Torah is written. Our standard Torah today of 62 or 63 Uriahs. You make a Uriah mibasholosh dapin, which we call today an amud, from 3 dapin, excuse me, all the way until ad bashmona dapin, all the way until eight columns, from 3 columns to 8 columns. Tachos mikan v'yaser mikan. If it's less than this or more than this, lo yaseh. You know how to do less than this. You know how to do more than this. And you can't have too many columns, because then it looks like a letter. You can't have too many columns on a urea. And you can't have too few. Because if it's too few amudim, then it's spread out. Your eyes can't follow it. The longest word in the Torah. You have to be able to write that 3 times in one line. Gimel palmim this dam will urea about teisha daf. And let's say you have a urea that's too many amudim, it's 9 amudim, and you have to cut it up. So what you do? Well, yachok shalosh l'kam sheish l'kam. Don't make 3 here and 6 there. Ela arba l'kam l'chamesh l'kam. Make one is 4, and then the other one 5. So l'chatchila, our amudim today are usually 4 or 5. Our ureas today are either 4 or 5 amudim. When do we say this? B'tchilas hasefer, only at when do we say this, that you can't have too many amudim if it is not the last Yiriyah? But if it's the last Yiriyah, that even if it's one pasuk and even if it's one daf, you could do it the whole Yiriyah. One verse is going to take up the whole Yiriyah. No, meaning to say, so. But it means if you want to make a shortened column from one word, then you just you could complete it at the end of the daf. Shir Gilyon, what about the margin? Milamata below is a tefach. Milamala above is gimel, it's both. It's 3 fingers. Ubein daf or daf, and between each column is kamoi revach. It's like the space of a rochav shtei etzbot, the 2 fingers. The chumashin, and in the chumashin, which we already defined, there's always a smaller margin on top than on the bottom. And between each column, then it's going to be like the space of a large space. Shita, like the space of a line. Between each word, like the space of a letter. And Bein also is between each letter, like the space of a, the thread, the space of a hair. A person should not make the letter too small. Not to fit it above or below of the margin. Also not. Not to put it in between the 2 lines. Not between 2 paragraphs. So let's say he's at the end of the margin, he has a word of 5 letters. Don't write 2 words in the middle of the daf and 3 after the daf. But do 3. Excuse me. Do three at the end of the daf, or on the top of the Lamed on the base. V'shtayim chutz daf, three in the middle of the column, and then two outside the column. V'dafna lo teva b'shtei osios. Let's say you have a word of two letters. Well, yizrukenu ben adaf, and don't put this word in between the margins. Right at the beginning of the line. Torah b'shem. Let's say Rahman al you make a mistake in the name of Hashem. Meaning you forgot to put in the name of Hashem. Gor's mashakot. If you scratch it out, the Torah, and you suspend it, you write it in between the margins. That's mashagar, the word that you scratched out. The postive it's Hashem al makam agar. You can write the scratched out name on the place where it was scratched out. That's the position of Rabbi Yehuda. The Rabbi Yossi Omer Aptoon. That's Hashem. He says you could even be Toa. Toa is where you suspend the word above. You could even do that to the name of God. Rabbi Yitzchak Omer Av Mochek. You could even erase the Kosev. You could even write the name of Hashem on a part that was erased. Rabbi Shimon Shazuri Omer Ko Hashem Huo Toan Miktzasoin Toan. Shimon Shazuri says if the whole name of God is being suspended, then you could be Toa. But if it's just a portion of it, you can't be Toa. Rabbi Shimon Elazar Shimon Meir says, "In Kotzvin it's a shame. Well, Malkama gravel or Malkama melchak. You can't write the name of God now in a place where it's scratched out or erased. Being told also, and you can't be told it. What you do, Ketzad Osa, Mistalik is the urea kula. You take the whole urea, the whole piece of parchment, Vignuza, and you bury it. Itmar Rav Chanano Amarav Halacha Toan it's a shame. Halacha is you can be told with the name of God. Rabbi Chanam Rav Yitzchak Pashmon Halacha Mochet V'Kosef that you could erase it and write where it was erased. V'Lema Marla Kamar Halacha Kamar. So why doesn't he just say the laws like this one and the laws like that one? So Gemara says Mishum the Apkachu because there's confusion about who says what. Amar Ravin Bar Chanina Amar Ula, and now we're going to have this discussion is going to lead us on tangents throughout Shas. So it says Ravin Bar Chanina says Ulamar Rav Chanina Lacha Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. The Lacha is like Rabbi Shimon Shazuri, and not only that, what did Rabbi Shimon Shazuri say? Shimon said that the whole name of God you could be told, but not a portion of the God. He says the Lacha is like Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. So that's what Rav Hananel says the name of Rav. That Allah Chatoan at the Shem Rav Bar Chanina says the name of Yitzchak Shmuel. So excuse me, go back. Amar Ravin Bar Chanina Amar Ula Amar Chanina Al Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. V'lo Al Kol Malkum Shoshana Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. Wherever Rabbi Shimon Shazuri taught something, halacha is kamoso. Wherever Rabbi Shimon Shazuri taught something, the law is like him. Aha, what does this statement mean? Iuema. Aha, whenever he says Kol Malkum Shoshana Shimon Shazuri, the law is like him. What is that referring to? If you want to say it's about this, Shimon Shazuri said this statement we just had, Kol Hashem Kula Tolam Mitzasoin Tolim. But it can't be because we learned about that. Amar Chanil Bar Rabba Halacha Tolan that's a shame. And Rav Chanam Bar Chanam Rav Yitzchak Pashmon Halacha Mochek V'Kosei. He says you can erase it and write it. V'Misa Hunami Lema. And if it will be case that this is what he's referring to, he should have also said the halacha is that you could that he should have said also that you could be told as Hashem. Elaha. So he must be referring to the following statement. Shimon Shazuri says, "I feel ben chamesh shanim." This refers to the law of the ben patul. If there's an animal that his mother was slaughtered, it doesn't, and it was inside the mother's womb at the time, and it walked out. It doesn't need its own shlita. And Rabbi Shimon Shazuri says, even if it's 5 years old, the chorish kasada, and it's plowing the field, shlita sima matarasa. The slaughter of its mother is going to say it's okay. The Gemara says, but ha'imar was the Yiri Amar Chanina Lachak Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. The law is like Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. V'im Isa, and if it's the case that Rabbi Chanina said it about that, he should have also said it. Then he should have also said it. Meaning to say, hello, one second. So he should have said along with Ziri. So Ula should have said this along with Ziri. So our first is following. Rishona Yom, and at first they said this refers to giving a get. If a person says Ayotzi the color, he's walking out with chains. Amar Kisvu Gel Ishti, write a get for my wife. Ariel Yuchtavu V'yitnu. They could say write it and give it. Even though he didn't say give it, he just said write it. Chazul Amar Apam Afarij, even when he's going out on a trip, Ayotzi B'Shayar or a caravan. Rabbi Shimon Shazuri says Apam Asukun, even somebody who's just sick. So if that's the case, inami aha. If that would be the case, Rabbi Shimon Zuri says I'm or else it could be referring to the following. We learned Trumas Meiser Shal Demai. Let's say you have the Trumas Meiser of Demai, which is you have the Demai, which is the food that we weren't sure if they took the Amaretz took a Truma from, and you had Trumas Meiser from it, and then it fell back in Shechazer Makomo. That it fell back into its place. Rabbi Shimon Shaduri Omer Af B'chol Shoalav Ochol that you're allowed to trust the Amaretz. You're allowed to ask him if he had taken it, and then you could trust it on that concept. Yeah, you had a question. So he
No,
says, okay. So he says that maybe, and Rabbi Shimon Shazuri says even during the week, not just on Shabbos, you could ask. V'misa hunami lema, and if that would be the case, why didn't he say it? He should have said it about that. Ella aha. Rabbi Yosef would keep Rabbi Shimon Shazuri. For a mitzvah, let's say you have a seed. Shazara was there. If you planted it, it's like type of bean. You planted for the seed. Miktaso Ishrish, let's say part of it took root, let's name Rosh Hashanah, Miktaso Achar Rosh Hashanah, Ain Tomer Mizelze. You know how to take a tithe from one or the other. If you Ain Tomer Min Amachim, Min Achadash Al Yashal, Min Yashan Al Chadash, you can't take a tithe from last year and this year and last year. What do you need to do? Sober Garano Toko. You collect all the stuff into the middle. Put it in one big pile and take a tithe from both. We learned about that on Rosh Bar Nachmani and Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon Tzuri. B'misa, and if this was the case that the Ula was saying about that, unami lema. El Amar Papa, so it says about the law of a shader. Maybe it was about a shader. I'm not Amar Ayayin. Now we'll pick up tomorrow's stuff. That'll be just Hashem will figure out a time to do. This is already up to Wednesday. We'll figure out a time to do it. A big shikayach.